Thank you for joining me here on this episode of Faith Between the Lines. I'm Scott. Somewhere along the way, many of us learn to look spiritual, even when we're breaking inside. We learn to say the right words. We learn to smile through the ache. We learn to act like we're strong because we thought that's what faith required. We learn to perform, not because we're fake, but because we're afraid of being seen as weak, afraid of being judged, afraid of being misunderstood, afraid of disappointing God. So we showed up polished. We showed up put together. We showed up with the version of ourselves we think God prefers. But here's the truth. God has never asked us to pretend. He has never asked you to hide your wounds. He has never asked you to act stronger than you feel. The pressure to look okay doesn't come from God. It comes from fear. It comes from shame. It comes from the belief that God only meets the perfect. But God meets the honest, always. There is a deep exhaustion that comes from trying to be the right kind of Christian. The kind who never doubts. The kind who never struggles. The kind who always has the right answer. The kind who always feels close to God. But you know what? That's not real life. Real life is messy. Real faith is messy. Real healing is messy. And pretending you're okay doesn't bring you closer to God. It brings you closer to burnout. Performance-based faith is heavy. It drains you. It isolates you. It makes you feel like you're failing even when you're trying your hardest. But God is not looking for a performance. He's looking for presence. He's looking for your honesty. He's looking for the real you, the tired you, the hurting you, and yes, even the confused you. The version of you that doesn't know what to pray. The version of you that feels numb. The version of you that feels lost. That's the version God meets with love and tenderness. You know, God meets you in the honest place. God does not meet you in the religious place, the place where you pretend, the place where you hide, the place where you say what you think He wants to hear. He meets you in the honest place, the place where your voice shakes, the place where your faith trembles, and the place where your heart feels fragile. Honesty is the doorway to intimacy with God. When you say, God, I'm tired, He says, I know, let me carry you. When you say, God, I'm hurting, He says, I'm here and I'm not leaving. When you say, God, I don't know what to do, He says, let me guide you. God doesn't heal the version of you that performs. He heals the version of you that is real. And the moment you stop pretending, the moment you stop performing, the moment you stop hiding, you feel Him again. Not because He moved, but because you finally let Him into the place where you actually are. And that kind of honesty is actually a form of worship. You know, when we often think of worship, it doesn't always have to be loud. We think worship is polished. We think worship is confident. But sometimes worship is a whisper. Sometimes worship is a tear. Sometimes worship is a shaky breath. Sometimes worship is saying, God, I don't know how to do this, but I am here. See, because honesty is worship, because honesty is surrender. It's the moment you stop trying to fix yourself. It's the moment you stop trying to impress God. It's the moment you stop trying to earn what He already gives freely. Honesty is the place where healing begins. Honesty is the place where intimacy grows. Honesty is the place where God becomes real again. And you don't have to be strong to worship. You just have to be honest. As a reflection of this episode, I wrote a poem for it called The Honest Place. I came to you in weakness, unsure of what I'd see. But in the raw and open, you spoke hope back to me. No judgment in your presence, no pressure to be strong. Just love that wrapped around me when my nights felt far too long. You met me in the shadows where my fears had made their home. It showed me that with you here, I would never walk alone. You lifted every burden I was too worn down to face, and filled the quiet spaces with a warm and steady grace. You turned my trembling honesty into a sacred place to heal, where every hidden sorrow you invited me to feel. You breathed new strength inside me, where my courage had grown thin, and whispered that the breaking was where hope could rise again. Now light begins to find me in the corners once so dim, and joy grows soft and certain as I learn to trust in Him. For even in my weakness, you're strong in every way, and the honest place becomes the ground where brighter mercy stays. There is a freedom that comes when you stop finally pretending. A freedom that comes when you let God see the part of you that you've been hiding. A freedom that comes when you realize He's not shocked, not disappointed, and not pulling away. He already knew, He already saw, and He already understood, and He stayed. My closing blessing for this show is, may you find the courage to be honest with God. May you lay down the pressure to perform. May you discover that God meets you not in the place you pretend to be, but in the place you truly are. May honesty become your freedom. May truth become your worship. And may you feel God's nearness in the raw, unpolished, beautiful, honest place of your life. I want to thank you for joining me here on this episode of Faith Between the Lines. And I hope I met you right where you are. You being here in this space matters, where your questions and comments are always welcome and can be left on YouTube or on Buzzsprout. Before I close, I want to take a moment to honor the families and the men and the women of our military, those who serve, those who have served, and those who stand behind them with quiet strength. Your sacrifice, your courage, and your commitment to this great country do not go unnoticed. May God bless you, protect you, and surround your families with peace and gratitude for all you give. And always remember this: you are never walking alone. We'll see you here next time.